Hello Manchester United fans. Welcome to the channel. Still one of a kind, Man United urged to bring higher standard Paul Pogba back for third spell despite World Cup winner carrying baggage after doping ban. Former Manchester United star Louis Saha has urged the club to bring back Paul Pogba for a third stint, hailing the midfielder as one of a kind. What happened? Pogba has been without a club since last November when he mutually terminated his Juventus contract. The Frenchman is now able to return to football after serving an 18-month doping ban. His initial suspension of 4 years was reduced on appeal. The World Cup-winning midfielder is currently training in Miami as he is gearing up to make a comeback to professional football. Pogba has been linked with moves to MLS and the Saudi Pro League, but has yet to receive any formal offers. The bigger picture. Amid speculation over his next destination, ex-United forward Saha has urged the Premier League giants to consider bringing back Pogba for a third stint at Old Trafford. Saha spoke highly of his compatriot's abilities, albeit while admitting the midfielder will carry baggage after so long away from the pitch. What Louis Saha said. Speaking to Hentane Casino, Saha said, "I think so. I think that he's still one of a kind. When you look at his quality, when you look at the squad we have in midfield, he's a better player in terms of unpredictability and technical ability. I think he's of a higher standard than the players that we have. Maybe physically he's not as good, that's for sure. Because he hasn't played for quite a while. Confidence-wide, he'll be fine. Do we have guarantees about him? We don't, but I'm sure mentally he's refreshed. He's motivated because he has to prove a point to many. So this is something to play with and it could be an exciting project. Yes, there is baggage, but I think he has probably learned a lot during that time. I would think that's a good gamble. What next for Manchester United? Ruben Amorim's United side will be back in action in the Premier League next week as they take on Nottingham Forest in a difficult away fixture. Man United pair alarmed by grueling 75,000-mile summer trips across 4 continents. Manchester United are planning to play post-season friendlies in Malaysia and Hong Kong, which will force their players to travel thousands of miles over the summer. Alejandro Garnacho and Manuel Ugarte face a ludicrous travel schedule this summer, with Manchester United organizing money-spinning friendlies after the Premier League season. United remain in talks over taking part in fixtures in Hong Kong and Malaysia after the conclusion of the 2024-25 domestic campaign. The club are desperate to raise funds in the Ineos era, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe constantly emphasizing the need to make cuts and increase revenue. United have huge fan bases in Southeast Asia and have a sponsorship deal with Malaysia Airlines. They will reportedly net around £8 million for jetting their squad off to Malaysia, reportedly to play against an All-Star 11 in Kuala Lumpur on May 28th, and Hong Kong after United's final Premier League game of the season on May 25th. This is despite increased concern among players about burnout, with the extent of the issue evident in the potential schedules of Garnacho and Ugarte. United winger Garnacho is hoping to represent Argentina in the days after the Premier League draws to a conclusion. His national team are due to play in Chile on June 4th before traveling to Buenos Aires to take on Colombia 5 days later. Meanwhile, Ugarte is slated to represent Uruguay in World Cup qualifiers against Paraguay in Asunción on June 4th and against Venezuela in Montevideo on June 9th. Those matches would come after the proposed friendlies in Southeast Asia with United, presenting a travel nightmare for the pair. The Times reports that sources close to the United stars suggest they are alarmed by the potential jet setting, with the newspaper estimating Garnacho would cover 37,883 miles and Ugarte 37,098 miles while traveling between Europe, Asia, South America, and North America. That is because, as well as possibly going to Hong Kong and Malaysia, United will play Leeds and Stockholm on July 19th and then head to the United States, where they will participate in the Premier League Summer Series, which begins on July 26th. Ruben Amorim's team are due to play West Ham and Bournemouth before their final game against Everton on August 3rd. Those games will take place in New Jersey, Chicago, and Atlanta, not long before the 2025-26 Premier League season kicks off again on August 16th. The idea of post-season friendlies abroad is not a new concept, with Tottenham and Newcastle on the receiving end of a great deal of criticism last summer after jetting off to Australia to play each other 3 days after the end of the season. Can you imagine if you're a player who is playing in either the Copa America or Euro 2024 having to do that? Madness. Crazy. Newcastle legend Alan Shearer said on BBC Match of the Day. "I wouldn't be happy at all. It's crazy for Newcastle to go and play." Manchester United make decision on rising star who has been compared to Phil Foden. Man United youngster Shay Lacy has a bright future ahead of him, but his minutes have been limited this season. Manchester United's exciting youngster Shay Lacy hasn't suffered an injury setback and is being carefully handled to protect his long-term future. Lacy was tied down to a professional contract at the earliest possible stage last year, and he is viewed as someone with the required talent to break into the first team at Old Trafford. The youngster missed the start of a season due to a small muscle injury, and he's been carefully handled since his return. That has limited Lacy's minutes during this campaign, but it's understood United are happy with where he is and are being cautious to protect his long-term future. United consider Lacy a future first-team prospect and have been protective of the playmaker this term, wanting to ensure that the youngster's hamstring is not in any discomfort. Lacy last played for the under-18s against Blackburn on February 22nd. He started in that 2-1 victory and was brought off at halftime by Adam Lawrence, which was a pre-planned substitution. A few weeks before that game, Lacy made an impressive cameo from the bench against Liverpool in the league, toying with the opposition on the right wing and coming close to scoring. Lacy made another substitute appearance against Chelsea in the FA Youth Cup round of 16, but he was absent from quarter-final squad against Arsenal. The U18s play Aston Villa in the semi-finals on Monday night. However, getting Lacy back up to speed in league fixtures is the priority. The 17-year-old has predominantly played on the right wing, but coaches in the academy like to challenge youngsters in different positions across the attack, and Lacy is versatile. Lacy has generated immense interest in the last few years because followers of the academy are excited about his potential. There have been comparisons made between Lacy and Phil Foden, and, just like the Manchester City star, Lacy's long-term future could be as an attacking midfielder. The youngster was born in Merseyside and comes from a family of Liverpool fans, but he's a United supporter and grew up idolizing multi-Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi. He has also represented England and starred for their under-15 and under-16 teams. Here at the Manchester Evening News, we're dedicated to bringing you the best Manchester United coverage and analysis. Make sure you don't miss out on the latest United news by joining our free WhatsApp group. You can get all the breaking news and best analysis sent straight to your phone by clicking here to subscribe. Ruben Amorim's tactics cost Harry Maguire a place in the England squad. Thomas Tuchel. No Manchester United players were part of Thomas Tuchel's first England squad for the World Cup qualifiers against Albania and Latvia. Marcus Rashford did start both games, but he is currently on loan at Aston Villa, and that is where he could stay with the Red Devils, keen to offload him once the transfer window opens. One United player the German had considered calling up was Harry Maguire, who had missed all club games in March due to a calf injury. But as relayed by the People's Person, he is on course to be back for the game against Nottingham Forest on April 1st. And Tuchel did not call the centre-back up for two reasons. Maguire's fitness. His fitness was an issue, as well as was his shift to playing in a back-three system at United under Ruben Amorim, while Tuchel prefers a back-four. While the former United skipper did miss out, Tuchel was quick to praise the 64-cap England ace's professionalism, reiterating how important he is to the national team cause. "I spoke to everyone who was not nominated, and Maguire was on the long list," the head coach was quoted as saying. "I spoke to all of them to give them my direct feedback why this is. It was a close decision. We chose Mark Gahey and Ezri Konsa. At the moment, I think they are a little bit in a better rhythm and deserve to be with us, so two right-footers in central defense and the rest was left-footers in central defense. Yeah, but the second reason was that he was not fit when we did the nomination. It was presumed that he can play, but I didn't want to take the risk to nominate a player in which we have to take care in the first training, second training, and constantly need to assess if he can do full training session, half training session." Tuchel blames Amorim. "We did the same with Reece James, and only for the feedback that he can do every session full was the reason that we brought him into camp. Harry knows that. It's not so easy at the moment for him in the club. He plays in a back three on top of it, but listen, he's a top professional, he's very important, he was very important for England." Maguire took it unbelievably well. "He wrote me messages to wish us good luck, so you see what a person he is, a top guy. He will always be in contention. Ever since United's shift to a back three, Maguire has fared well, and having fast-paced defenders to cover him on either side does suit the ex-Leicester City star due to his slow pace. Whether this shift ultimately ends up costing him a place in the Three Lions squad moving forward remains to be seen. As for his club future, there have been murmurs that despite a contract extension, Ineos want him gone as they target Jared Branthwaite of Everton.